The Lighthouse of Vision, Illuminating the Path Forward. What does it take to move a nation? What kind of force can propel a people toward a frontier not just of geography, but of imagination? I'm John F. Kennedy, and if you're seeking to understand the essence of inspirational leadership, look no further than the trials and triumphs etched into the history of the early 1960s. Leadership is not just about the position one holds. It's about the current of influence that flows from one's actions, the resonance of one's voice, and the indelible mark one leaves on the fabric of society. In this first lesson, let's explore the power of vision. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. With these words, I didn't just set a goal, I ignited a spark that would burn in the heart of every American. Visionary leadership is about seeing the unseen, reaching into the future, and describing it with such clarity and passion that it becomes irresistible to others. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. But how do you craft a vision that captivates and inspires? It must be bold, certainly, but it must also resonate with the values and aspirations of the people. When I spoke of peace, of landing a man on the moon, of eradicating poverty, I spoke to the deepest hopes of every citizen. A leader must be a master storyteller, transforming the narrative of a nation into one of possibility and promise. Now, think of the Berlin Wall, a symbol of division and conflict. Ich bin ein Berliner, I proclaimed, not just to express solidarity, but to reinforce the idea that freedom is not merely national, it is personal and universal. The lesson here is that a leader must connect with people, not just intellectually, but emotionally. Your vision must touch the very soul of society. The structure of your vision is pivotal. It must be comprehensive yet simple, aspirational yet achievable. Consider the Peace Corps. It wasn't just a program, it was a manifestation of a vision where American youth could serve as emissaries of hope and development across the globe. The story was simple. Through service, we could change the world. And it worked because it was structured with clear goals, tangible outcomes, and an appeal to the noblest of human instincts. But visionary leadership is not without its challenges. You will face skepticism, resistance, even open hostility. The key is resilience. Do not pray for easy lives. Pray to be stronger men. When you encounter obstacles, use them as opportunities to reinforce your commitment, to demonstrate your resolve, and to deepen the collective commitment to the vision. Now let me ask you, what is your moonshot? What is the vision that you are willing to dedicate your life to despite the challenges? In our next lesson, we'll move beyond vision to explore the intricate dance of diplomacy and power. But for now, remember that a vision without action is merely a dream, and action without vision is but a passing moment. It is the union of the two that forges history. Consider this as we conclude this part. Leadership is not a title, it is a behavior. Live the vision, and you will lead. The Chessboard of Influence, Strategies of Diplomacy and Power. Vision is the seed of inspiration, but it is action that waters it, allowing it to burgeon into the landscape of reality. In our pursuit of inspirational leadership, we've established the cornerstone of vision. Now let's turn our attention to the delicate interplay of diplomacy and power. In this dance, one must understand that power is not about dominance but about influence, and diplomacy is not about capitulation but about the strategic alignment of interests. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. These words encapsulate the essence of this dance. It is a balance between demonstrating strength and extending an olive branch. Consider the Cuban Missile Crisis, a moment when the world teetered on the brink of nuclear annihilation. The decisions made were not just about the immediate resolution of a conflict, but about setting the stage for a future where such confrontations might be avoided. It was a masterclass in understanding the opponent, in careful communication, and in the measured application of pressure, a true testament to the power of restraint combined with the resolve. The structure of diplomacy and power is much like a game of chess. Each move must be calculated not only for its immediate impact but for its ripple effects. As you navigate the corridors of influence, consider every alliance, every decision, and every word as part of a larger strategy. The Peace Corps, for instance, was not just about aiding developing nations. It was a strategic initiative in the global narrative of democracy versus communism. Leaders must be adept at reading the room, at understanding the undercurrents of politics, and at leveraging the soft power of ideals and principles. For man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. In these words lies the paradox of power. It can be both a force for monumental good and catastrophic destruction. The inspirational leader must wield power with humility and use it to build, not break. Now imagine you are at a crossroads where every choice could tip the scales of history. How do you proceed? How do you use the power vested in you to create a legacy of peace and progress? In the next lesson, we will explore the nuances of communication. But before we part, consider how you might apply the principles of diplomacy and power to not only lead, but to lead with purpose and integrity. Leadership, after all, is the art of persuading others to share your vision and join you in the journey towards its realization. It is about crafting a narrative that is compelling, inclusive, and ultimately transformative. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend, the Symphony of Eloquence, Mastering the Art of Communication. As I continue to guide you through the essence of inspirational leadership, let us delve into the realm where the power of a leader often resonates most profoundly, the art of communication. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. This aphorism not only reflects resilience but also underscores the importance of communication in leading through adversity. Communication is the symphony of leadership, where words are the notes and decisions are the melodies. I stood before crowds, not merely to speak, but to conduct an orchestra of ideas, guiding each listener through a journey of understanding and inspiration. The Cuban Missile Crisis, for instance, required that I communicate with not just the right level of firmness, but also with transparency and reassurance. To master this symphony, one must recognize the power of tone, timing, and tenor. The cadence of your speech can ignite a fire or soothe a soul. My address on civil rights was not just about conveying a message. It was about affirming a commitment to equality and justice through the very timbre of my voice. This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds, on the principle that all men are created equal. The structure of your communication should be like a well-composed piece of music. It begins with setting the tone, then it builds up towards your vision, followed by the body where you lay out your arguments and narratives, concluding with a powerful finale that calls to action. Every speech I delivered was meticulously crafted to this structure, ensuring that each point resonated and built upon the last, leading to a crescendo that moved people to action. As a leader, you must also learn to listen. Communication is not a one-way street, it is a dialogue. In the pursuit of peace, I learned as much from listening to the Soviet perspective as I did from advocating my own. This does not mean you waver from your principles. It means you respect the principle of mutual understanding. Now, consider your most recent conversation about something that mattered deeply to you. Did you speak to convince, to conquer, or to connect? The inspirational leader uses words to build bridges, not walls. In our final lesson, we will consider the essence of courage and its role in leadership. But for now, think about your next speech or conversation. How will you craft your words to not only be heard, but to resonate deeply and inspire action? Remember, the power of your leadership is often measured by the impact of your words. Speak not just to inform, but to transform. The Crucible of Resolve, embodying the courage of leadership. In this final lesson on the essence of inspirational leadership, we approach the very heart of what it means to lead: courage. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world. These words are not just a call to action, but a testament to the courage required to take such action. Courage in leadership is multifaceted. It is the courage to make decisions that are not immediately popular but are right for the future. It is the courage to stand firm in the face of overwhelming opposition, to say what needs to be said, even when the message is difficult to hear. It is the courage to risk failure in the pursuit of greatness. As a leader, I had to confront the specter of nuclear war, to navigate the treacherous waters of civil rights, to ask my countrymen to pay any price, bear any burden. These were not mere rhetorical flourishes. They were calls to embody the courage that leadership demands. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend. The structure of courage is not like the steel of a ship, rigid and unyielding. It is more akin to the resilience of a tree, rooted deeply in conviction but flexible in the face of storms. Consider the stand I took for civil rights. It was not the path of least resistance, but it was the right direction for the nation. It was a decision that could have cost me political support, but some things are more important than the next election. Courage also means admitting when you are wrong, learning from mistakes, and having the resolve to adjust your course. The Bay of Pigs invasion was a failure, and responsibility for that failure rested on my shoulders. Victory has 100 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. From this challenging experience, I learned that a leader must be as gracious in defeat as they are humble in victory. Now, I pose to you a question that cuts to the core of your own leadership journey. When the moment comes to stand up for what you believe in, will you find the strength within you to act? Will you lead with the courage to face not only external adversaries but also your inner doubts? Inspirational leadership is not the product of timid consensus. It requires a boldness of spirit and an unwavering commitment to do what is necessary and right. As we conclude this exploration of leadership, remember that to lead is to dare to dream, to dare to act, and most importantly, to dare to lead others to a brighter tomorrow. I leave you with this final thought. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. It's the courage to act on what you know is right, the humility to learn from your experiences, and the resilience to persevere through adversity. Embrace these principles, and you will not only lead, but you will inspire. And so, we close our discussion, not at the end, but at the beginning of your journey. Go forth with the vision of possibilities, the strategy of diplomacy, the eloquence of communication, and the courage of conviction. Lead well and let your leadership light the world. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound lessons from the legend.